Welcome to our Downey Downline team training that we're doing virtually using Zoom. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Jay McDonald, who's leading our call tonight.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Jane.
Hi, Jane.
Okay, now you know the topic's going to be recruiting. And I hope this is not going to be a shock, but I don't have a secret.
What?
Yeah, what? I'm going to give you some tips, ideas, but really it's all about building your confidence so that you become a more excited recruiter and, more ready to do that. So my first question is, if I was coming to see you and you're going to take me to dinner, where would you take me?
Favorite restaurant?
Yeah. Which one? Give me a name.
Probably Anchor Inn.
Who else?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Tell me what restaurant where you live.
Pizza Hut.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got another question for you. Anybody go shopping this summer and get a really good bargain? Can you tell me what it was?
I got a bathing suit top for $12.
All right. What store was it at?
Kohl's.
Hi. Anybody else?
It's really loud.
Here's another question. Where did you go on your best vacation ever?
Disneyland. Maui.
Punta Cana.
Ireland. Grand Canyon.
The reason for the questions is those are things that are easy to answer right away. Something comes to mind about something you love. And that's the way it should be with your recruiting. You should be able to share something that you love about your business just as quick as saying where your favorite restaurant is. And that's what we want to talk about today, making it simple, making it easy, making it something we really want to do. I told you that we were going to cover 3 steps, the first 3 steps of recruiting. And those steps are, number 1, listen, number 2, inform, number 3, invite. All right, so let's get started. First of all, step number 1, be listening for people's needs and wants. Did you know that 61% of women say that spending time with their family is extremely important to them, but only 33% are actually doing it? And did you know that 41% of men and women have a strong need to pay off their credit cards, and 51% of people are realizing they're not saving enough for retirement? These are just a few of the needs that people have. And these are the kind of things that Pampered Chef can provide for every single person. So thinking back, when you started your Pampered Chef business, what was that need that you had, the reason you started a Pampered Chef business? Carrie, can you think back and think what was that need you had when you started?
Well, I just needed to have more products for my kitchen. And I found out it was a nice outlet for my stress level, and it was fun, so, that's really why I started, was just to get more products for my kitchen.
Okay. Tiffany, how about you?
Mine was to pay a car payment of $300 a month.
Mm-hmm. And Kathy, how about you?
Mine was to help pay for my son that was in college at the time. He still is. I'm still trying to contribute to that.
Yeah. When I started, the main thing was I was looking for a way to earn some money, but I had to have flexible hours. I could go find a job. I had to be there every day because of my family situation. So that was my need. And notice we all had a little bit different take. Did you notice right away Carrie said it was about product, it was not about making an income? Everybody's needs are going to be different, and that's why we need to listen to what people are saying. How can we become a better listener? Well, at our shows, we need to be paying attention when our guests are walking in. We need to, first of all, ask some questions. to find out a little bit about them. That's where the listening comes in. So some of the things we might be saying to our guests are things like, hey, how do you know our host tonight? This is a conversation as people are gathering. You might be asking, have you been to Pampered Chef shows before? You might ask them, tell me about the Pampered products you already own. Or maybe you ask, do you work somewhere outside home? I'm just kind of curious about you. You're asking questions. You're getting to know your guests a little bit more. Just what's your order going to be? You're finding out a little bit about their background, just asking questions in general. And the more you hear the answers, the more you're going to be able to hear from them the kind of needs that they have. Listen for questions that people actually ask you. Things like, do you like doing this? Or how many shows do you do a week? Are you out all the time? You want to look for those people who are excited about Pampered Chef products, the ones who say, I want so much, but there's no way I can afford it all. You want to hear in their voice the things they are very curious about. You're listening to what all your guests are saying. This is just as important as selling that food chopper. You want to hear what it is they are really looking for. Some people are going to be very direct with you, and they're going to say right away, I'm curious about what you do. Now, it'd be nice if they all did that, but they don't. There's also going to be people who are curious, but they won't say anything to you. They'll be quiet about it. And then there's also the people who don't know how great Pampered Chef can be for them. They don't even have a clue about that. So we are listening for those kind of clues. That's step number one, is listening. Step number two is consistently inform people about your opportunity. When you tell others that you have an opportunity to join the Pampered Chef and to become a consultant, you're simply supplying information. It's okay if people have some interest, because recruiting is all about finding out that interest. Who is your next lead? Who is going to be that next person you want to spend time with? Just like you explain the host benefits to your host, you're going to explain the benefits of joining Pampered Chef to the people that are gathered at your show. So how are you going to do this? Well, you can briefly tell your story, just saying a little something about you and why you joined the Pampered Chef. Another thing you might do is when people bring you their receipt, you can show them, oh, this is in the starter kit, and this one is too. Have you ever thought about finding out more about the Pampered Chef? Talk about the opportunity by showing in the catalog, here's our mini kit, and explaining it to them. Also, be free with your come join us or discover us brochures. Let everybody have one. Explain why they are getting one from you. Talk about the opportunity when you give out your door prize slip. Show them that there's a box on there that they can check for more information. And you can do those kind of activities, the ticket game, the stealing hearts, things like that, to again generate more information. But what we are doing is we are informing people that you do have an opportunity. If you never mention it during your show, people don't know that you're willing to help them start a Pampered Chef business. You're listening for their curiosity, but you're also informing everyone that you have something very special. Now, I have found that people need to hear that you have this opportunity several times during your show. You're not going to mention just once and forget about it. You're going to bring it up several times. You're going to talk about your own excitement when you get something free from the Pampered Chef for doing 2 shows. Bringing up several times, again, reinforces that idea that you have something that's more than just what's going to be on their order. So this informing goes hand in hand with our third step, and that is inviting. Believe it or not, when people hear the information about the business opportunity, they don't automatically think, oh, that's for me. So you need to make sure you have a time when you can explain to each person why this opportunity is for them. That's the personal inviting. That's when everybody hears you say, have you ever thought about being a Pampered Chef consultant? You see, informing is not enough. You have to go to the next step, and that's inviting. You're going to individually invite each person because they have heard the information in the informing part of your demonstration. But now the invitation starts. And this is where you're getting the most maximum from your time that you have with each guest. When you talk about the opportunity during your demonstration, during your door prize slips, in your introduction, again, that is informing. You need to go to the next step and invite. I got to tell you a little something about my dad. When I joined the Pampered Chef, and I've now been Pampered Chef for 26 years, when I joined Pampered Chef, my father told me a story about a friend of his who sold John Deere tractors. My dad's a farmer. He said to me, one of the things that his friend knew from selling tractors is that a customer can come in and he can tell them about the wheel size and the engine size and what it can do for him. That's all invitation. But the next step was always, would you like to place an order with me today? That's the invitation. And so my dad said, make sure you're telling people that, you know, they need to buy from you. So I always remember it from my dad. There is the information, but there's also the invitation, and that's just as important. Think about this. You have a show. There's 4 people there. There's 20 people there. But out of the people there, let's say you give some information about the Pampered Chef to one person. One person going to take it home so you can have a one-on-one conversation with them the next day. If you do 2 shows a week, you are going to be talking to 8 people in a month, which is 96 people in a year. Now, out of those 96 people, what if 1 in 10 joined your team? You've just added 9 to 10 people to your team in a year's time. Would anybody like that? You're all nodding, yes. That's what it's about. It's about finding the people who have interest in what you do, listening to them, informing them about the opportunity, and personally inviting them. So let's talk a little bit about the people that you are going to be using this technique with. Where are you going to find the people, besides your shows, that you're going to talk to about joining Pampered Chef? Your show's a natural place. You've got them captive in someone's living room or kitchen. But what about other opportunities to have people join your team? Well, let's think about the people you know in your everyday life. How about the people that are in organizations that you attend, that you are a part of? How about in your place of worship? How about the parents and teachers and the PTA? What about all those people that are on your holiday card list? Or the people in your address list, for that matter? How about your neighbors? The people you see when you work out at the gym? How about the other parents at your children's activities, at Scouts and things like that? If you hold another job besides Pampered Chef, what about your coworkers? The people that you went to school with, high school, college, and beyond. There's lots of places where you have contact with people that need to know more about what you do. Say you've got a good girlfriend. You've been friends for years. She knows you do Pampered Chef. Maybe you've informed her about Pampered Chef. Maybe you've had a show with her. Have you invited her to join your team? Here's the words you might use to talk to a friend about joining Pampered Chef. The words might be something like this. Maria, we've known each other a long time, and your friendship is more important to me than my business. At the same time, I want you to know that I think you would be a terrific Pampered Chef consultant, and it could really help pay for all your kids' activities. Would you be interested in learning more about what's possible with this business? What I just shared with you, was that scary? Not really. It's just letting people know that you always are open to the idea of sharing the Pampered Chef with them, having them give it a try just like you gave it a try. So be considering that when you think about all the areas of the people and the places and the ways that you meet people on a daily basis. Reach out, share this opportunity, listen to them when you ask questions, inform them of the great opportunity that we have, and then invite them to come and consider it. I want to back up just a little bit and go back to our shows, because your number one lead from every show you do is your host. That host already likes you. He or she invited you into their home. They already have an interest in Pampered Chef because they want some free stuff. Maybe they just want to have a good time with friends. But they are really your number one lead, and you need to be inviting each and every one of them to consider Pampered Chef. You know, I have a brand new person on my team. She's a neonatal care doctor. Does that sound like someone who needs Pampered Chef? When I called her, she was recruited by someone on my team. I said, welcome to our team. But I'm curious, why was it you were so interested in Pampered Chef? And she said, I am fascinated with the way you do fundraisers, and that's what I want to focus on. How about that? We don't want to judge anybody, because anybody can do this work, and everybody would love the opportunity that it brings. So, looking at your hosts, how are we making sure that number one, we're listening, number two, that we're informing them? We're probably already doing this. You're probably putting something in their host packet that says, join my team. But then you need to follow up, because that's information. The next part is invitation. So be sure that whatever you're giving to your host, you're asking her to read it, asking her to consider it, asking her to have a conversation with you about it. The earlier you do it, the more likely that if she is interested, that her show can be either an open, introductory show, or you're going to help her find bookings at the show that you're doing with her. Say to her, watch what I do this evening. And if it looks like fun, why don't you consider starting your own Pampered Chef business? Be sure to invite him or her to your next team meeting so she can meet other people who have started their Pampered Chef businesses. Another thing you might want to consider with your host is asking to have a meeting with them along with their spouse or another family member or a good friend, so that the two of them can hear all that you have to offer. Always say to them at the end of the show when you're wrapping things up, you know, you heard me say a lot tonight about my business. I'd like you to consider doing it alongside with me. A simple invitation. It's a flattery kind of thing when you think about it. They're going to so much appreciate that you wanted to do this with them. Okay, now you're out and about. A stranger approaches you. How does that stranger know that you are a Pampered Chef consultant? Anybody got an answer? There. She's wearing the logo wear. Absolutely one way to let people know you sell Pampered Chef. What else?
Well, I always wear logo wear, and I have it on my car. We get lots of bags carried that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wear my mini catalogs on my purse so they can see them.
Yeah.
And I don't look all closed off, like I actually want to speak to people. I'm not on my phone the whole time I'm in the store. Like, I'm approachable.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not scary.
Yeah, excellent. You know the bags that we give our hosts, the big clear white bags that they can put the products in? Take those next time you go shopping to the mall, and every time you get a purchase, put it in that. So what people are seeing is not the Target bag, but they see the Pampered Chef bag. You can get them, you know, you can buy them, but you can also get them from your host so they have extras. But anyway, use that to put all your purchases in. So when you are walking, people say, oh, it's a Pampered Chef bag. How did she get a Pampered Chef bag in the mall? You're going to be approached. Talk to them about it.
That's a great idea. And the other, you know, you could use one of those new pink and black, the new ones that are coming out in the catalog now that we earn.
Yes, the polka dot.
That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another thing, if you're not wearing logo wear, try wearing a pin that's unique. I have a pin that's the shape of a spoon. And I'll put that in my coat, and people will go, oh, you're wearing a spoon. And I'll say, well, it's because I love dishing up great things with the Pampered Chef. Are you familiar with the Pampered Chef? It's a conversation starter. Because maybe some people won't always recognize your Pampered Chef logo, especially the new one. Now, I like our new logo, but the spoon with the P and the C, I'm not sure everybody's going to grab that you're a Pampered Chef consultant from that. If you were wearing something interesting, it might spark the conversation. Now, I got a question for you. Say you're meeting some new neighbors for the first time. You're getting to know them, and the thing that they ask you is, do you work? How do you say, I'm with the Pampered Chef? What would your words be?
I sometimes, if I can remember to say this, I say I've been inspiring people in their kitchen for the past 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yeah, that makes them curious, doesn't it? I had a friend who always would say, oh, I don't mean to brag, but I'm with the Pampered Chef. You need to come up with a great way to say what you do in a quick way, because you are going to be asked. You're carrying the bag, you're carrying your bag with the mini catalogs, you have your pin or whatever you've got on. People are going to approach you. What are you going to say to spark their interest, and you can get them into a conversation? That's kind of like your homework for the next day. I want you to come up with that line, with that introduction that you will say when you meet somebody to get a conversation going. Now, that conversation might lead to someone saying, oh, my kids broke, and I've been needed to have a consultant. All right, you got an order. But the conversation might also lead to them booking a show or thinking about joining Pampered Chef. Don't be afraid to talk to people, and be very proud of what you do. Let's talk a little bit about some word choices. Let's say that you go to a soccer game often with your child, and the other moms see you there, and you know each other by first name basis. Here's the words you might use if you want to chat with somebody about your business. So the person you're going to approach, her name is Amy. She's someone you see often at the soccer games. And once in a while, she'll ask you about a Pampered Chef product. So why not say to her, Amy, you seem to be interested in the Pampered Chef. I'm not sure if you're just curious, but if something like this ever crossed your mind, would you be interested in learning more about it, what it means to be a consultant? You're not going to be offended by that, but you're the one doing the approaching. You are the one with the invitation. So don't miss on those opportunities. I'll tell you, I missed a big opportunity, and I tell you, you can kick yourself. That's what I was doing. I was taking a class at the Y, and it was a 3-month class, and it was a small group of people, and we were all in training together. I didn't bring up that I was a Pampered Chef consultant. I didn't think of it in a way that, well, here we are working out glutes and things like that. Well, darn, the last day, someone mentioned Pampered Chef, and I said, yeah, I'm a consultant. She goes, oh, I wish I'd known that. We couldn't find a consultant. Someone's driving 3 hours to do our show next Tuesday. My own fault. Why wasn't I bold enough to say to all these people that I saw every Tuesday and Thursday, by the way, I love what I do. I'm with Pampered Chef. That's why I'm free to come to this class every Tuesday morning. So I missed that opportunity. Let's talk about, I'm sorry, I'm checking my notes here. when you're out and about, and maybe someone's saying, oh, that's not for me, the next thing you want to do is ask for referrals. And so that's something else that's going to build your business, and that's referrals. It's, again, something you're going to ask for because you love your business and you want your business to grow. So when you're meeting someone and they, it's not for me, or you're talking to your host or your girlfriend, they said, no, that's not me. Then you might say, do you know someone who? Give some examples. Do you know someone who's already working 2 jobs and maybe doesn't like the second job? Or do you know someone who could use some more income? Or you might say, do you know someone who's looking for more flexibility in their work schedule? Do you know someone who's really outgoing and loves people? Do you know someone who's always hosting home parties? Asking for referrals, because most likely somebody knows somebody who would be great at doing Pampered Chef. So start the habit of asking people, who do you know? Find out, get a name. Now, what would you say to someone like that? Here's an example of the words you might use. Say your host said, I have a cousin who lives out of town from here, but I think she'd be good at Pampered Chef. So she gives you her name. Her name is Jamie, and gives you her phone number. So you put on your brave hat and you call Jamie and you say, hi, Jamie. This is Jane with the Pampered Chef. Your cousin Patty hosted a cooking show with me last week. And Patty thought of you during the show because she can picture you doing what I do as a consultant. Jamie, have you ever considered a home-based business? And if I sent you some information, would you look it over? She's not going to be offended by a phone call like that. She's going to be flattered that her cousin Patty thought of her. It might not lead to something, but why not try it? Give these referrals a try. I got this on a Facebook, and maybe you saw this. I saw this 2 days ago, and I thought it was so interesting that I wanted to share it with you. In this, it was the response you give when someone says, oh, I could never sell Pampered Chef. I don't sell things. And so the response that a Pampered Chef consultant would give to someone like that is to say, well, let's think about this for a minute. You shared a Coke bottle with your name on it. And when you did that, everybody ran out and bought their name on a Coke bottle. You just sold it. And you know what? On Facebook, you posted a picture of a delicious meal you got at a restaurant. And before you know it, all your friends were saying, where is it? I want to go there. You were selling that restaurant. And how about when you posted a great book you just finished and you raved about it to the point that everybody had to run to Barnes & Noble and go buy it themselves? You sold that book. How about when you went to a movie and you couldn't stop talking about it until everybody else saw the movie too? You were selling that movie. And how about when you got a great deal at a local store? Wow, what a discount it was. You couldn't wait to share with everybody about that sale you found. You sold that store. And when you approach it that way, anybody could sell Pampered Chef. Because if they love the food chopper, they can sell it. If they love the manual food processor, they can sell it. If they start using that all-purpose pot, hey, my husband's selling that right now. He loves it. And that's what we do. We tell people about the things we love. You don't have to be a chef. You don't even have to be a good cook. You just tell people about the things you love. Let's talk just for a minute, though, about the times when you do get a no and what you should do when someone says, no, that is not for me. Remember to keep it very professional. When someone says to you, no, you say, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for considering my offer. And then say, is there a way we can follow up later? And maybe if Pampered Chef isn't going to be your new career, would you consider hosting a show maybe in 6 months? Would you like to be on my email list? Would you like to be my Facebook friend? Find out how you can be of further service with them. And if no is no, that's fine. But you might find out that they're saying no is not now. And if they say yes, you can follow up with me, keep your promise. Say yes, I will follow up with you. So the 3 steps that we talked about tonight. Number 1, listen. Number 2, inform. And number 3, invite. I will let you know there is a 4th step, and that's interview. But that's a whole other class that we're not going to go into tonight. If you have any questions about interview, talk to your director or your recruiter, and they'll get you more information. And know that there's also things you can study on the Pampered Chef website that'll help you with the interview. So I want you to unmute for a minute because I want to hear from you, each of you. What's the one thing you're going to do differently? What's one thing? Carrie, one thing you might do different?
Well, one thing that I haven't been doing like I used 2 years ago is offering it to my host on a consistent basis. And when you were talking, I went ahead and gave you some of the coupons to start putting back in their packets because I've been lax about doing that. So that was inspiring to me to start putting it back into my packets. I don't know why, I got away from it. It's just one of those things I kind of quit doing. Accidentally, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So that inspired me to print those out and get those going.
Well, good. Good. Michelle, how about you?
Well, I do a lot of listening. I do a lot of informing. I don't do as much inviting. So I just need to take it that extra step and just say, would you like to do this? So a lot of talking, and then I think they're going to magically just say, sure.
Yes. It's not the truth. Yes.
So sometimes I stop right before, and I don't know why I do that, but I'm really going to make a conscious effort just to ask, the question and follow through with that.
Good. Good. Lydia, how about you?
At the last call, I said the same thing Carrie did, is to be intentional again about asking every host. Because as I look at my personal recruits, 95% of them were my past hostesses.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the best candidate to recruit. And sometimes I just forget or I'm not, intentional about it.
Kristen.
I can't hear.
Yeah.
Okay. I like to ask the questions at like the meet and greet before you actually start the cooking show. Kind of get a feel of, who's looking for what, and that way you can personally, because I feel like I talk a lot about the business, and especially on the opposite of the booking side. When I get real passionate about the business part. And then I get to the checkout, and I'm like, I don't know who's interested. I don't know their story, and I'm kind of shy about trying to fill that out. Right up front at checkout. So if I fill them out before the show, I think that.
Great job informing. Now she's going to listen and she's going to invite. That's great. Is it Julie? Is it over here? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of where Carrie and Lydia are. I am intentional about doing a full checkout, so I ask every guest, and then sometimes I get in my car and I'm like hitting myself in the forehead, like I didn't even ask the host. I ask every guest, but I didn't ask the host.
Mm-hmm. Good. You're going to do that now. Kathy, how about you?
And while we're setting up, I think that's important for me to do that while I'm helping them get set up or while they're helping me. That's the first time I need to ask them. Well, probably before that, but I need to be more intentional about that time.
Mm-hmm. Good. Good. And Kathy?
I would agree. Just being more intentional and having specific times when I talk to people and just being being aware and really focused on what they're talking about, what they're doing for their daily activities and their evenings, and just really listening. I offer, but I guess I just need to be a lot more intentional with it.
Mm-hmm. Good. And you will be.
Yeah. Good.
Tiffany.
I was just thinking about the show I had this afternoon and how I was like you always have like your one ear listening to what's going on in the room, but your other ear you're listening to like when I was doing my checkout and I was kind of, taking my orders and thinking like somebody said something that triggered like the whole inviting process. And so I'm being more cued into that and actually following through with the invite.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. You can do it. Is there anybody else I missed? Then I want to close with something that I want you to ponder, something to in your mind, just to think about as we leave our call. Because here's the reason you want to ask every person. You never know the person you're talking to, whether they're sick of their job and want to leave. You'll never know that they might be dreading every single day when they wake up the kids to take them to daycare. You never know who might be so stressed about fighting rush hour traffic every day. You never know who might be tired of worrying about what they're going to have to wear day after day. You never know who might be upset or stressed from being overlooked for that promotion they kept hoping they were going to get. You never know who might be sitting down and trying to figure out if their job's even worth it for the daycare costs that they're paying. You never know who might be facing a layoff and their job is on the line. You never know who would be loving to always be there when their kids came home from school. You never know who would love to have a first-class trip the way Pampered Chef treats us. And you never know who out there would love to have a paycheck that more than matches their efforts. You have the power to make a difference in people's lives. You don't know who they are, and that's why we ask. Good. Any questions? Any comments? Well, wonderful. Well, Tiffany, I think we got it covered.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop the recording now.